Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at another day in our Zine Project that is based on this awesome book, Zentangle Dingbatz, Patterns and Projects for Dynamic Tangled Ornaments and Decorations. And today we are going to use the pattern Scarabou that we did a video on yesterday. And so if you want a step-out video on this, you can check that out. Today I am going to use again my brown pen, and I am going to give this tangle the attention that I or at least make a finished product out of it. So I am determined not to give up on this, even if it comes out a little bit strange. We're going to get to it. So again, this tangle starts with these very shallow S shapes. And the next one down starts in the well of the one above, and you don't want to get them too close. That's my advice for this one. And we're going to come out and make a little wave, and I am going to put a fescue bottom on this little curly Q. I was really bad with the fangle talk yesterday, but this is a fescue top, if you will. Fescue is a Zentangle original pattern. And it kind of helps me to have this division right here along the edge where the pages turn or are folded. I frequently have trouble with the dimensions of my tangles changing. That's a hello from Simba. So frequently a guideline about where to stop helps me to keep things a little bit more symmetrical, which is good. Yeah, squared that off just a tad bit, but it'll still work just fine. It's tough to work on the edges like that. Do the best you can if you come to that. Ooh, got a little crazy with the ink on that. And this is really the toughest part of this tangle, is adding this very last little part. And again, I'm using the fescue little bulb type thing on the end, and I'm just going to add a curved little fescue. I think I'm just going to go with fescue on this. It's well, Simba, all right. It's a very relaxed C shape, and if you keep that curve in line with the one that is already existing on that little wave bit, then you can slip them in fairly easily, just like that. And you can add just whatever top on these that you would like. You could even, make a little spiral. So really just let your creativity go, and that's sort of what I wanted to do on this today, was to explore this tangle just a little bit more in a more serious fashion where the outcome does matter to me, and we're going to see how it turns out. Hopefully well. And just like with the word, I'm going to do a lot of line weight on this to emphasize the outer edges and anything inside that might be worth emphasizing. And I can't wait to play with these just a little bit and see where we end up. Alright, so it's time to aura now. So I'm going to start on one side, on this right side, whichever way that is. I'm directionally challenged more and more. And again, you sort of have to practice this tangle and get the hang of the auras, because the shapes are a little bit different. The way that you approach the aura can make a big difference in the way the tangle looks when you're finished. If you would like to see some of those, if you would like to see some of those variations that I looked at yesterday in yesterday's video, be sure and load that up and take a look at it. We managed to discuss quite a few things. What I forgot to talk about, I think, on this was shading. Oh, I think I did mention it, but I don't think I did a practical example. And we're going to do something here, but I think today I'm going to use my Prismacolor Premier pencil in chestnut for some shading instead of my graphite pencil, and we'll see how that looks and whether or not we want to keep it or change it in just a minute, as soon as I finish the aura on this other side. Make sure you take your time with your auras, something I struggle to remember to do, but if you do, you will find that they will be much neater, much more precise, and you will tend to be much more pleased with them. I was a terrible rusher when I started drawing. I wanted everything to be finished yesterday, and I really have learned to slow down and take my time and enjoy the process, and that has really made a huge difference in my overall work. Alright, so this is our first aura here. And let me decide what I'm going to do from this point. Of course, start with line weight and rounding here. This I found in the video yesterday is a really good way to enhance this. It seems to bring a real dynamic quality to it. But you know, you be the judge, and you tell me. Or even better, post your work either on Mosaic or Instagram and tag me with it so that I can find you. Now on Mosaic, my tag is Cindy Pelly CZT 32, I think. If you start out with CYND, you're probably going to find me pretty easily. Of course, if you put the DEE in there, then you're golden. You absolutely find me. I don't believe right now that we have any other Cindys that spell their name in that way. Way to go, Grandma. She was just destroyed that I didn't want to use Cynthia in school, and I preferred Cindy, and so she thought that she was an English teacher. She thought that if I was going to use that truncated name, as she put it, then the least I could do is have a pretty spelling for it. And she was the one that gifted me with that CYNDEE, and I used it ever since. And I loved the unique quality that gave to a pretty plain nickname. So I'm really hitting the edges as I round here with line weight. I'm re-emphasizing all of these outer lines along the aura. It's going to make a big difference in the way this looks. All right. You can already see it leaves a very interesting look. Let's finish the other side. I don't know if I'm going to do that everywhere. We'll see what happens. I'm just continuing to add my rounding and line weight here. I will probably work this fairly hard. Although it might have been different, or it might have been better to leave it. I just really like this tangle a lot more when it's done boldly, if you will. And you may have found a way to do this another way that might be better more delicately. So I'm really interested to see what everybody comes up with on this, if you use it. And of course, you do not have to. This is your artistic creation. I am just showing you some ideas. And so you are free to use my ideas or not. It's entirely up to you. I am still trying to lose my voice. Hopefully that won't happen. That's going to make the videos awkward. I don't think any of us want the boys to do the voiceover on this. Would definitely be interesting, wouldn't it? We've got Meet the Teacher coming up today. And little one has got a great teacher this year. We're very excited about that. Well, at least I'm excited. I don't know how he feels. I'm pretty sure he's not down with the whole school plan. Even though I tell him they'll throw me in jail, it doesn't seem to matter. Luckily, he really doesn't want that to happen, so he deals. He's a good kid.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Most of the time, baby.
Some of the time.
All right. I'll let you...
Sure about that?
Baby. All right. So let's see what I'm going to do for embellishments here. I'm definitely going to do some little fanned lines on this beneath section here. This is the spot where I'm going to put some shading in with my colored pencil. I don't know if this is on this video or on the next one. We'll find out. Tomorrow we'll be doing the other side of this. We'll be working with a gold jelly roll. And I love the jelly rolls, metallic jelly rolls from Sakura, who does the jelly roll that we use in white. And I'm just going to keep hitting different spots here where I feel like the lines need to be enhanced in some way. Oops. Yeah, over-enhanced there, but that's all right. I really love the way the rounding and line weight work this pattern. Really gives it sort of a overlapping look, which is the point, I guess. So now I want to embellish the insides of this just a little bit. I'm going to just put some simple little geometric shapes. I think probably a triangle that follows the shape of the tip of this wave, and then just some simple little round orbs. I tend to go crazy with these sometimes, so be patient with me. We're going to find out if it works or not. If it doesn't, I will know for the next time, and if it does, yay me. I hope that you guys have been enjoying this series. I'm really excited about what's going to be coming up next. I think we're going to have some really special holiday things that we can do. And if you do not celebrate the holidays, there's still cool stuff in there that you can participate in. I tend to get a little bah humbuggy around the holidays. The kiddo tends to be that way too sometimes. We've had some hard Christmases, but they're getting better. So I am hopeful that this year we're going to have a good one. We will have a lot to be thankful for, I hope. Another year together will be a great gift. I think that I am going to be able to be much more organized and much more productive starting next week. I did want to mention that I finally am getting my act together and getting those prizes mailed out for the giveaway that we did for the 100 Days of Zentangle. And I apologize that that has taken so long. It took us more than a week to get in touch with everybody. And then I have needed to arrange somebody to go to the post office and get those mailed for me. That's something that's difficult for me to do, standing in line and that sort of thing, especially now when it's over 100 degrees here, which is over 40 degrees in centigrade. It's just incredibly awfully hot and humid. So, all right, so next, let's see. Here we go with my Prismacolor Chestnut. It is a reddish brown that is going to, I think, work really well with the brown ink and the tan paper. And you can see that I am shading this just as I would with graphite, but in this instance I'm using a little color to shade instead. And that is frequently a nice way to, especially if you're working in color, shading using a color that is compatible with what you're doing is a great way of shading very subtly. Also, a lot of people don't like the grayed out quality that you get with graphite, and so shading with colored pencil can be a way to avoid that as well. Now, I probably will get a clean tortillon here after a bit, maybe on the next video, and using my blending solution, my odorless mineral spirits, I will come in and blend that pencil out just a bit, to release the pigment and really get it going good there. But before I get there, I'm going to take my white jelly roll. This is the 08 size in jelly roll. And I am going to do a second aura around this in white, just for a little bit of contrast. A lot of drama here. A lot of contrast. Let's see how that ends up looking. Should be okay. And I'm just going to stop where the next page starts. I probably overlapped it a little bit in a couple of places, but I think it's going to be fine. I just don't want to go ahead and go across it. Otherwise, we'll have a partial thing going on the next page. Need to just let that go. Not going for perfection, we are going for fun and relaxation and pretty stuff at the end. And if you enjoy putting this ink down, the jelly roll is awesome on this paper. Now remember, if it gets gummed up and stops working, get it started again on your thumb like I do, or on a piece of paper, whatever is handy. I frequently go to the store with jelly roll all over my hand, or paint, or any number of other things. And that's okay with me. I don't mind that. Now I'm just touching down ever so gently here. I'm trying to put a tiny, tiny dot. And if I had thought ahead, I would have used my, I think it's like a 01 size in the jelly roll, but I don't think they label it that way. It's, oh, I can't remember what they call it. Angel hair? No, it's something. Anyway, they call that smaller size on the jelly roll something. But it's really handy for doing this kind of work where you've got tiny little highlights. But this one's going to work pretty well. And the smaller nibbed jelly rolls are a little bit hard to keep rolling. But again, it's almost always a trade-off with art supplies. It's got its good stuff and its bad stuff. All right, let's get the aura in on the other side. If I can keep this going. You can rotate your pen in your hand to help go at it from another side. That sometimes will help your ink flow. You can also, again, start it on something like your hand or a scratch piece of paper, paper towel, anything with a little bit of a tooth that will get that ball in the tip rolling a little bit, coating that with ink and then putting it on the paper. Also need to apologize to you guys for being so far behind with comments. I need to dedicate some time this weekend to catching up with those. I do read them. I thank you so much for them. You guys have given me some great ideas. Luanya and Rebecca and oh no, I knew I was going to forget somebody. Somebody else gave me, I don't know if it was Patricia or somebody else. Maybe Judy, I don't remember, but you guys have given me some really good thoughts on what we should maybe do next, which is cool. I like this. And that's where we're going to stop it today. Tomorrow we'll finish the other side, play with a gold jelly roll, and see where we end up. Thank you for joining me today, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.